Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we've got some rumour-y stuff to talk about. It's happening again, the drought is over, kind of. An actual interesting rumour that, to be honest to me, doesn't seem entirely unlikely. I have had some stuff sent to me over the last few months, but quite a bit of it has been somewhere between wishlisty and just outright nonsense, which is why you haven't heard about it. So, this one's a little bit different. Before we jump in, I will just quickly say, a couple of people messaged me to say, did you realise that the Salamanders and Imperial Fist stuff is going to be up for pre-order next Saturday? Yes, I did. But we already knew what we're going to get for that stuff. We already knew it was going to be dice and the supplements and the characters, so it didn't really seem worth a video of its own, because it would be 30 seconds long going, it's available next Saturday, and that would have been it. So, there you go. Threw it in at the start there, free of charge, just like the rest of this stupid content. Anyway, the rumour. So, this is from someone that I'm not actually familiar with, and I've had a look around. It does seem to be something that's spreading to other places, and so this one person could be responsible for all of that. It could be multiple sources going to different places. I don't know. I've not had any experience with this particular person sharing stuff with me before, and as such, I can't make that snap judgment call of, okay, this person has provided reliable information in the past, therefore I'm sure it's fine. This is new, a new source to me. However, that being said, I can see validity in this particular one. So, as you've guessed from the title of the video, and the thumbnail most likely, in 2020 we are possibly, it is rumoured, it has been suggested to me, getting a new army. So in 2020, Traitor Guard could well be on the way. Now, I'm not the only person to have heard this. Having a look around, Bell of Lost Souls has reported it. I thought Spiky Bits had as well, but that's gone now. There was a Facebook page that had also had something similar. And to be honest, in terms of believability, in terms of sensible conjecture, a Traitor Guard army in 2020 is really not that far out there for me. Now, of course, it would mean Chaos getting stuff, but that's not as unlikely as it used to be, let's be honest. And if there was something to be made a full army out of, Traitor Guard would again, I think, be a fairly, maybe not safe bet, but a believable bet. Saying safe bet kind of implies that it's pretty much guaranteed to happen, which is not what I'm saying at all. As always, with all this stuff, you know the drill by now. It could be true, it could be not true, it could be accurate, it could be a load of old complete scrollix, we don't know. But I will say the idea of a Traitor Guard army in 2020 is not that far out of the realm of believability for me. I mean, for a start, the Traitor Guard it's an aspect of the setting that has been completely ignored for the most part. Yes, we did have the Forge World stuff. We do not have the Forge World stuff anymore. It's gone. You cannot get that anymore. And in terms of like ideas for mainstream armies, really Traitor Guard should be all the way up there. It's not like Chaos is only represented by Chaos Space Marines and by demons. That's not how that works. There are countless mortal followers. Traitor Guard are referenced continually in pretty much every book ever, and a big part of the Horus Heresy as well. The fact that regiments of the Imperial Guard turn traitor is significant and is not exactly a hidden or surprising thing. But outside of Forge World, we don't really have that much of a way of expressing that on the tabletop. We never really have. Not in a large, meaningful way, anyway. Until fairly recently, and this is why I think, actually, this is fairly plausible, feasible. I'd say maybe even likely. The thing is, 2020 is very vague. I mean, I would be happy saying that it would not surprise me if we saw Traitor Guard in 2020, because it's the whole year. I mean, if you got from the 1st of January to the 31st of December for something to maybe happen with something, it's not like a safe bet, it's not like a guaranteed thing, but it's such a wide timescale that it makes it that much more plausible to me. Traitor Guard are already in a position whereby they could be represented pretty damn well on the tabletop, to be totally honest, because they would have a bunch of models. Now, admittedly, all of those models are available only in Blackstone Fortress, but that is the thing that is making me think that this could have something to it. I mean, we've talked about this before on this channel. One of the things that we have mentioned specifically is the fact that Traitor Guard would not be that difficult to implement. It would not be that hard. And with the models in Blackstone Fortress, That development was enough to, if I remember correctly, prompt a video on here talking about how all you need to do is just take the stuff out of that box, put some sprues in with some Imperial Guard vehicles to chaosify them, and you have Traitor Guard. You already have the codex, you already have the stat lines, you already have the abilities, you already have the vehicles. Most of that wouldn't really change for the most part anyway. It would just be the same but slightly different. In the same way that Chaos Space Marines and Space Marines for quite a long time were pretty much the same but slightly different. I mean, when you look at what we've got just in Blackstone Fortress alone, you've got the Firebrand Cultists, you've got the Traitor Guard kit, you've got the Psychers, I was going to say the Sanctioned Psychers, but they're not really sanctioned anymore, are they? You've got the weird, what were they called? The Neo-Volt Cultists? The Dark Admech ones. We've got those. There are the Crazy Chaos Beastmen as well. We had the Commissar too, that was an expansion, along with a Chaos Ogryn as well. I mean, you've filled out a significant chunk of that codex right there. I mean, if you take the Ogryn, Commissar, you take the actual Traitor Guard themselves, take the Beastmen, the Psychers, the Dark Mechanicus dudes, I want to say Negavolt, but it might not be that, and you got the Cultists as well. You've got 7 codex entries right there. That straight off the bat, just out of one specialist game, you have enough to fill out a good chunk of infantry for Traitor Guard. And the thing is, when it comes to things like vehicles, what would you reasonably need to do? Well, we've already said, you would just stick the Chaos Vehicle Accessory sprue in the same box as a Lehman Russ. Or a stripped down, like, half-size version would work too. It really wouldn't take that much effort. And the thing is, some of it, yeah, you might have to write new rules for. You might have to. With things like the Firebrand Cultists, with stuff like the Mechanicus stuff, they would need porting over. That'll be fine. But the actual Imperial Guard, you just swap the stat lines. That's all you just take their profile and then just stick it in the other book, and that would be literally it. You would not need to do anything else. You could still have standard infantry, you could still have veterans, you could still have pretty much the same content for a significant number of entries in that codex, and just change the name slightly, and that'd be it. In terms of potential new armies, I would argue that Traitor Guard are way high in the list, because they currently are in a position where they don't need a huge amount of work to make a codex out of. They don't need a huge amount of explaining, because everyone knows what Traitor Guard are. I mean, when it comes to writing lore for Traitor Guard, it's not exactly going to be difficult, is it? You've got the entire history of Warhammer 40k to pull from. It's not like they've just been lurking in the shadows and no one's ever heard of Traitor Guard. That's not how that works at all. It'd be far easier than introducing a brand new faction, because we know what these guys are. You've already got half the units done. You might need to expand on some, admittedly. You know, it would be nice to have more variation in things like the Ogryn, but then again, I would imagine if you're sculpting one, I would not be surprised if more than one was sculpted. If it was in fact already the case that we had 3 of those, and they've only released just the one of those up to this point. Especially if you're planning, as Games Workshop does, several years in advance, you wouldn't just go for the one. You'd do the whole 3 knowing that they're going to be released in a separate box. At least it would make sense to me to do it that way anyway. Games Workshop have been at this a fair while. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So, in terms of rumours, it's not the dumbest thing we've ever heard, let's be honest. Traitor Guard in 2020 is not... It's not beyond the realms of imagination. It's not something that could be seen as complete wish listing, especially in the context of Blackstone Fortress, where we have a bunch of stuff already available. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, because I don't do that with these, for the most part, unless we're covering one of the more generic rumours. I mean, the type where someone says, there's going to be a new Space Marine hero. Oh yeah? Oh, fancy that. I'm happy to say stuff like that will absolutely happen, because it would be more shocking if it didn't. This, whilst I would not want to put the stamp of a guaranteed all over it, I mean, it seems pretty damn plausible to me. It seems like a, not low effort, that's not fair, but it seems like something that would not take a huge amount of converting over from loyalist to traitor. It would not require a vast rewrite of anything. The vehicles could stay the same. The basic infantry would stay the same. The various profiles, stat lines, they would all stay the same. All it would be taking some stuff out and adding others. Maybe take out ratlings and add in beastmen. Maybe take out something and add in the Dark Mechanicus stuff. It's all stuff that's pretty plausible, pretty simple. Nowhere near as complex as introducing something brand new, and with the foundations already laid in another product. Just stick them in boxes, sell them, and off you go. Doesn't really strike me as being that unlikely, but I'm curious as to what you think, whether this could be a thing that would happen in 2020. Bear in mind that 2020 is a long year, like most years. It is in fact the full length of a year. So in terms of actual when is it going to happen, no clue. There's no sort of hint given as to that. So in a way that kind of strengthens it slightly and also weakens it slightly. Something more specific would be more helpful, but the fact that it is the entire year to pick from, I mean, in the course of an entire year, seeing the Blackstone Fortress stuff for Traitor Guard being released as a standalone thing, that doesn't really sound all that tricky, does it? Doesn't really sound all that unbelievable. But that's just what I think. I'm curious as to what you think, whether this could be a thing that happens, whether it's a thing that most definitely will not happen. I mean, it makes sense to, but does that necessarily mean that it will? That's the biggest question with a lot of things Game Workshop does, isn't it? So yeah, let me know what you think of that in the comments down below, which bits stand out as being plausible or not, and which bits you think make the most sense, or if you've got an out there theory as to what they might do with all of this, then again, share it in the comments. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon video, subscribe. I did the hand thing too early there. As always as well, there is an affiliate link in the description for Element Games. If you click it, it will take you to Element Games, and if you buy something, I will get you a little something. I will get something for sending you that way. Words are hard. Everything is between 15 and 25% off, whether it's 40k Age of Sigmar paints, every other tabletop game known to man, including some scenery, and a very extensive bits section. And at the end of the month, 10% of anything raised through that link will go to charity. It's just a nice thing to do with that. So it's a nice way to support the channel that requires no extra effort, and something goes to charity as well. So you can do that if you wish. If you don't want to, that's fine too. I will leave it entirely in your capable hands. And I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.